Back on the SportsMax Zone, the double Olympic sprint champion Elaine Thompson-Herah was once again in sensational form on Thursday, logging the only win by an English-speaking Caribbean athlete at the Zurich Diamond League finals in Zurich. The 29-year-old Jamaican clocked 10.65 seconds to defeat Great Britain's Dina Asher-Smith, who produced the season's best 10.87, and Switzerland's Alja Del Ponte, who placed third in 10.93. Thompson-Herah has now surpassed American Florence Griffith-Joyner as the leader for the most sub-10.7 performances in history. This was her fourth, one more than Flo Jo set in her Super 1988 season. Overall on Thursday, the English-speaking Caribbean had 12 podium finishes. Leighton Levy, senior writer at SportsMax.tv and our resident track and field analyst, joins us to recap the action today at the Zurich meet. And I guess we have to start double L, as I call him, with Elaine Thompson-Herah and the unstoppable form that she continues to show. Yeah, let us hear you. Let us hear you, Leighton.
Yeah, when you consider what she's done since the Olympics: 10.61, 10.64, 10.54, 10.72, and of course 10.65. Remember, I had said I thought 10.7 or low 10.8 was going to be where she would probably end up. But 10.65, it just tells you how remarkable a season this has been for Elaine Thompson-Herah. Of course, a leader all time now in sub 10.7 clocking for women, and another imperious performance today. I'm sure she would wish she would be able to put this in a bottle and come back with it next season.
Yeah, you have to say that. And a quick comment on her running form. You know, she looks perfect. I don't think, as hard a taskmaster her coach Stephen Francis is, that he would have too many difficulties with what he saw. Her running form and her execution at the moment, Leighton, looks perfect.
It almost is. I mean, when you consider what I think she's done is something to what Justin Gatlin did back in 2015. When he fixed those little things in his mechanics that has everything moving in the right direction with, you know, the least amount of sideways drag, and everything is moving in the same direction at the same time. Her arms are from shoulder to knee. Her knees are up, her form upright and relaxed. And she's literally the perfect sprinter. She reminds a lot of people, including myself, of what Asafa Paul looked like in his heyday when he was almost the perfect sprinter. That is what Elaine Thompson has done this season, in addition to other things, maybe like some additional strength and, of course, improving her speed overall. That has allowed her to do these fantastic things. But she is right now the perfect sprinter.
Yeah, and how about her eclipsing Flo Jo's numbers of sub 10.7 clockings? That has to be remarkable.
It is remarkable, and because you remember, you know, there's a lot of cloud over Flo Jo's performances. I don't care what anybody says. The reality is that there have been clouds over it, from the wind-aided elements to others that we won't bring up here. And so what she's done this season is another step in eclipsing this dark mark, as far as many people are concerned, from the history books of track and field. And I think it's a step forward towards, you know, refreshing the sport and bringing a new level of excitement to the sport for somebody who has been doing it the right way.
Brilliant stuff from Elaine there. So I'm going to move across now to the second place finishes for James, Ricketts and Levy. A quick comment on that? Look,
it's a meet of close finishes, huh? If you look at all of these races, including Shericka Jackson's 200 meters, between 0.1 and 0.01 and 0.03 seconds separated first place from second place. In the case of Ronald Levy, they virtually got the same time, 13.06. And I took the liberty of looking at the photo finish. And yes, Devon Allen did just get ahead of him, but it was remarkably close. When you look at, for example, you know, the other events, Shanika Ricketts, of course, she was never going to beat Yulimar Rojas. 50 meters 48 is one of the best jumps in history, breaking the just below the previous world record of 15.50. Shanika Ricketts' 14.64 was as close as anybody would have gotten today. But still a solid performance from her. It was an all-round outstanding day for the Caribbean athletes who, if they didn't win and they came second, it was just second. It wasn't like they were being blown out of the meets. They ran personal best. Ronald Levy 13.06 is just 100th of a second outside his lifetime best of 13.05, where Shericka Jackson ran a personal best 21.81 for second place to a woman who just ran 21.78, which is a new junior record, and of course, a world under 20 record. I mean, they brought it today, just that unfortunately, in many of the instances, it just wasn't enough on a fantastic day of performances.
Yeah, you mentioned Mboma's 21.78 as you said, a world best for under 20 athletes. How good is she? She's 18 years old, and you have to think that next year she'll be better, and the year after better than that as well.
If the World Athletics doesn't intervene in this, and somehow find a way to exclude her from virtually all events or create a neutral category for all of them, I think once she learns to run the curve, she's going to be unstoppable. Because if she runs the curve hard, like most other athletes do, she's going to shave 0.2 of a second off what she does now, which takes her down to 21.5s, 21.4s. She's a remarkable athlete. And until somebody comes up with definitive proof that her advantage, her DSD is an advantage, she's gonna dominate the 200 meters for years to come. But she does say that she wants to go back to the 400. I don't know if the World Athletics is going to allow her to do that. But for right now, she's found another niche in the 200. And except for Leighton Thompson-Herah, she's beaten everybody this year. So she's going to be hard to beat going forward.
Top stuff from Mboma. Now we move to the third place finishes for Dacres, Kimberly Williams, Shade Williams, Megan Tapper, and Parchment and Gould.
Look, let me start with Megan Tapper, because this girl, every time she runs, she evokes a lot of emotion, not just for me, but for a lot of Jamaicans, a lot of people, period. I mean, her Instagram has gone from 10,000, I think, almost 47,000 now. She has brought it this year. 12:53 in the Olympics and then 12:55 in the final. This time that she ran today was equal to that time that she ran in the final. And it took a national record from Tommy Amos and 12:42 and a national record from Nadine Vischer, 12:51 to beat her. She is in great form. And like Elaine, I think she will want to bottle this season and take it with her next year, when I think she'll go even faster. Now that she's demonstrated that she can do it and she belongs. And the confidence is now there. As long as she's healthy, she's going to run faster next season. For the Dacres, this would be a redemption of sorts for him. A terrible season that was hampered by that wrist surgery. 65.3 for a $7,000 prize at the end of the season is a nice way to end the season, which has been very, very difficult for him. Kimberly Williams has always been there or thereabouts. When you consider that some of the best jumpers were not in this field, a third place finish for her is quite commendable. 14.41 is a good jump for her. It's right within her wheelhouse. So kudos to her as well. She's also one of the other athletes who brought her best today, and of course ended up with some money and on the podium. I tried to remember the fourth person that you mentioned, but it overall.
Shade.
Shade Lawrence, of course. She's always
Shade
done well.
Williams.
I mean, yeah. Julian Robinson had said to me earlier this year that he wanted to make her a 65-meter thrower by the time she got to the Olympics. That never quite happened because she wasn't as consistent enough. But for her to finish again today in a podium position is actually quite commendable for her. And I think it's a good step forward in terms of preparing her for next year, when they'll have more time to make her into a better thrower, and a thrower that will contend, I believe, next year. Given that we've seen throwers with 65, 70, 69, 77, 67 meters this year, I think with an additional few months of strength training and working on her mechanics, as Julian Robinson has been working on all season long since he took over from her training, I think it was late 2019. She's going to be a lot better going into next year as well.
Yeah, Shade Williams, the Barbadian, Leighton, created history for Barbados.
Runner, that's who you're
Barbados today. Yeah.
Good.
It was history because it was the first time a Barbadian was competing in the finals of the Diamond League.
Absolutely, one of her fastest times this year as well, 50.34, I think it was. She has finally stepped up. She's had a few challenging years at MVP, UTEC, wherever, whatever designation she's in. And she is doing well. She went to the Olympics, ran close to her personal best. Of course, she ran her personal best at our national championships here in Jamaica. And of course, she's been consistent throughout. Even not making the final in Tokyo, she still ran close to her personal best. So she's at level now where she's finding that kind of consistency that will allow her to make a big drop next year if she stays healthy, because that's been one of her concerns, staying healthy. So all these 50 points that you're seeing, don't be surprised if next season you'll see her drop to 49 and stay in the 49 regions consistently, because that consistency usually follows a big drop for track and field athletes.
Yeah, as you talk about the 400, Kirani had a terrific finish today. At the 50-meter from home mark, I thought Cherry would be pulling away from him, but I don't know where Kirani got the energy from. He rallied back and you know, Cherry had to dive over the line to beat him.
Yes, absolutely, and I agree with that, because that was my thinking too. I thought with 50 meters to go, as he has done throughout the Diamond League season, Michael Cherry, who has run 44.03, has pulled away from the field. This time, Kirani found something, and Michael didn't find it, and it came down to the line where actually he didn't dive, just like Shawnee back in 2016. He stumbled because his legs gave out underneath him, and it actually helped him because his torso moved forward when he stumbled, and he got across the line in 44.41 to Kirani's 44.42. It was a great race, and of course, it was symptomatic of what we saw right across the board in many of the performances today, right across from on the track where, you know, just mere small fractions separated the winners from the second place finisher.
Yeah, 400-meter hurdles, Varholm ahead of Dos Santos and Kyron McMaster from the BVI in third spot.
Yeah, what do you say? Kyron McMaster has been struggling to get past Alison Dos Santos all season long, and today was another attempt that didn't work quite the way he wanted it. Alison Dos Santos has stepped up to becoming the next best in the world behind Rai Benjamin and, of course, Carson Varholm. 47.35 is well within what he's used to running now with his eyes closed, so to speak. But Dos Santos 47.81 tells you that right now, at 21 years old, he could be an oil in a fly in the ointment next year at the World Championships if, under the likes of a Rai Benjamin, you know, slips up a little bit, because he's 21 years old and he looks ready to run a lot faster. Once he makes certain adjustments and probably build some speed and some additional strength, he's going to be a threat next year, because he's been consistently at 47 all season. And of course, as you know, the 672, I think it was, that he came third in. He's right within that wheelhouse of the best hurdlers of all time. So, you know, not surprised today that he finished second to the greatest of all time in Kyron McMaster, in Carson Varholm. But yeah, Kyron McMaster has some work on his hands, even though it was another very solid performance today.
Yeah.
Okay, Double L, thanks for linking with us. We'll talk.
Take it easy, guys.
Yeah, track and field to closing off the Diamond League program today in Zurich, and an outstanding season of Diamond League racing, and a year that also had the Olympic Games. And Mariah, when we talk about the COVID-19 troubles that sport has had to endure for over a year and a half now, great to see that track and field had the kind of year, or is having the kind of year it is. Definitely, because when you bring COVID-19 into the equation, we think about not getting to train, so that, you know, inability to, you know, get your physical fitness up to par. We think about the mental strain, you know, not being able to have your family around you, just not being in that state fully. So I feel as if our athletes deserve a round of applause. They deserve all the medals and all the applause that they've gotten, because it has been a tough season. Yes, well, we brought you the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games this summer, and we have more world-class athletics on the home of champions. Join us this Sunday for the World Continental Tour meet in Berlin, Germany, live on SportsMax 2, 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 Eastern Caribbean time.